Okay, here we go then. The last race of the day, it's all to play for. Race 2, it all comes down to the next 14 laps. And away they go. Now, and there's Darren spinning out as well. Darren, there's contact there, push Kieran wide. Oh, but he's gone off. What's going on? Shane's also there in the BMW. Oh, nearly loses it. Kieran's going to have to slow down. No, he's gone too much. It's Josh here, and he is leading. This is fantastic for Josh. Oh, a bit of a luck tap. And Josh, oh my God, who's going to take it? I think it's Darren. I think it's going to be Rob. Rob gets it. He's actually on the grass. This isn't good for Tom. And he's made the move. Look at that. Through Eau Rouge. Oh, that's Mike. Mike's gone off. Oh, Craig sideways. Big time. Is it going to be enough? No, Sam takes it and takes the title ahead of Tom. Hello and welcome to the FeckWrest Touring Car Online Racing League. My name is Tom. I'll be your commentator as always. You are currently looking at Craig Kellett in the Nissan GTR, who is our current leader in the driver's title. Let's have a little look at the race itself, the entry list, and of course the positions in the league so far. It's the second time the FeckWrest Tourers appear here at Red Bull Ring in Austria. The 2.6 mile 13 lap short track was proved to be popular last season, with a winner piece for the two Parker brothers, Sam and Darren, in their Renault Megans, and of course race 2 win for Tom in the Subaru. In the entry list then, Kieran Thomas returns for the K-Tech Subaru squad, but unfortunately Sam Parker misses another event here at Red Bull for Team Parker Racing in the Renault Megane. In the independents, it's the usual guys who have entered. Another event for Joe as his second race here. And we welcome Chris Hensby in a brand new BMW M4 into the independents. Gary Black doesn't return after only doing one race at the Dragon Trail, and of course James Dawson still hasn't raced for a second event in the BMW either. In the driver's title then, for the points coming away from Dragon Trail into today's race at Red Bull, Craig Kellett is leading with 198, Darren is second with 166, Mike is only 1 point ahead of Mark with 136 to 135, Josh is only a couple of points away in fifth with 133, Tom is sixth at 130, Sam is down in seventh with 115, Kieran has 188, Harry has an 85, Rob has got 71 in 10th, Stephen has 47 in 11th, Gary with 43 in 12th, James has got 27 in 13th, and Joe has 26 in 14th. In the teams, we've got Parker Racing leading with 325 points, 4 points ahead of Elliott Racing, 321. As you've been watching throughout the season, that's been very, very close so far. K-Tech a little bit further behind, unfortunately, because Kieran didn't appear in the Dragon Trail races with 273. In the independents, Mark is leading by just 2 points, 186 points to 184 with Mike. Josh isn't too far behind and catching very quickly with 168. Harry with 135, Gary has 70, Stephen climbing very quickly with 62, Joe with 39, James has 34, and of course Chris Hensby will join the leaderboard once he scores some points today. Qualifying, as always, was taken by Craig Kellett, so let's have a little look at the race for race 1 here at Red Bull Ring. Here's your grid then for race 1 here at Red Bull Ring in Austria. Pole position for Craig Kellett in the Nissan GTR for Elliott Racing is next to Darren Parker in the Team Parker Racing Renault Megane. Row 2, we've got Stephen Heath in the Subaru WRX. Next to him we've got Harry Cook in the Nissan GTR. Row 3, we've got the first of the K-Tech Racing Subaru WRXs of Tom Foster, next to Mark Nicol in the Renault Megane. Row 4, the second Nissan GTR Elliott Racing of Rob Pellet, and the newbie Chris Hensby in the BMW M4. Row 4, we've got Mike Kuipers in the Nissan GTR, and the second K-Tech Subaru WRXs of Kieran Thomas. And on the back row of the grid, we've got Josh Hardy in the Renault Megane, and of course Joe Burrows in the Mazda Atenza at the back of the grid. We are here then to get round 5 underway. A nice sunny outlook for the first race here at Austria in Red Bull Ring, and away they go. As usual, it's a good start for Craig, but an impressive start for Stephen Heath, who goes really wide and actually nearly takes them all out. There's Darren going sideways. So, all bunching in on the first corner, and we've got Harry Cook on board here, and Mark Nicol is on the outside, overtaking into 4th position then. Harry stays on the outside as they go into turn 2. Darren's on the inside. There's Chris and Mike side by side. Chris Hensby joining in from round 5 here, hoping to get some points early on, and nearly runs wide there, but Josh falls in behind him. At the front then, we've got Tom just behind Craig here, with it's Stephen leading the race, and Mark's just got ahead of Tom. So Mark now looking good in the Renault Megane, and Mark is very, very strong in the independents, looking to maintain a big gap, hopefully coming away in the halfway point. And looking to increase that lead ahead of Mike and Josh. On to lap 2 already then. Stephen was leading, but it looks like Craig may take the lead, but Stephen's gone on the inside. Craig's had to go wide and had to let him through, so Stephen's still leading, but Craig is looking to get past, and we know what Craig is like. This is very close at the front so far. Looking further down. Oh, it's Joe going quite wide there. So Joe gets back on the track and slots in just behind Mike. The backpack here is on the hard tyres, getting them out of the way and looking to get the maximum amount of points in races 2 and 3. And that's unfortunately that's Chris on the gravel a little bit there. Oh, that's Mark. So Mark is on the gravel. I'm not sure what's happened to Mark, but let's have a little look and see what happened to Mark there, and find out what happened to him and how he's put onto the gravel. Let's have a look at Mark here from a different camera angle. So it looks like there was a bit of a push there by Harry, whether intentional or not we're not sure, but it certainly looked like a bit of contact there. Looking on board with Mark now, and let's hear, yeah, you can just hear the contact, unfortunately, as Harry just pushes him wide. Yeah, so unfortunately Mark was tapped by Harry. Whether the stewards will look at that, we don't know, but it's actually pushed Mark down quite far. Oh, there's Chris again, unfortunately in the grass. Chris doing more rallycross in the BMW than actual touring car racing so far. On board with Rob. Rob in the last 2 events, and here, as you can see, seems to have got to grips with that Nissan now and showing some stronger performances. Currently in 5th, and it'd be great to see Rob get his first podium potentially today, if not somewhere down the line, and even a win hopefully. So Craig's still leading, and now a small battle is going on here between Stephen and Tom. 2 Subarus fighting. as I say, very, very similar setups, but unfortunately running under two very different banners. Tom now on the inside. Can he get up past Stephen? And Stephen runs wide. So on board with Tom then. To lap 4. So Tom is still in a solid third there, but is under threat by Darren. Darren looking to take advantage of potentially the two Subarus. On board with Mark here, who is taking a look on the outside of Harry in the Nissan. Mark looking good, and he's actually, whoa, nearly, I thought he was going to go into Rob there, but he gets away with it. So Mark down in 6th after his off into the gravel earlier on in the race. Looking further down, Kieran leading this small pack here, still ahead of Josh, who's ahead of Chris, and actually Kieran's run wide, so a little bit of contact there with Josh. There's Chris going off into the gravel again. It'll take him a little while to get hold of the BMW, especially as it's rear wheel drive, so just needing to get the settings right. Josh here brimming with confidence after his double win in Dragon Trail. And if he can keep himself steady, can really push for that retaining of the Independence title. But a very, very stiff competition of Mike, who is just behind him here, and Mark, making it very difficult for him. On board with Mike then, as we come up to turn 1, and there's some fantastic close racing with the guys at the back here. Kieran and Josh are fighting out, allowing Mike to potentially get past, and not too far behind is both Chris and Joe in the Mazda. So this 5-pack now looking very, very tasty. On board with the BMW of Chris, who's looking to go on the inside, maybe 3-way into the tighter hairpin bend, but no, he takes the sensible option. And Josh and Kieran still going at it, and that's allowed Chris to get past. So Chris goes up into 10th and is ahead of Kieran now. So Kieran's gone from leading this small pack here to now being near the back of the grid in 11th. So Kieran's got a little bit of work to do. Can he get past? Still early days, only 5 laps down and a fair few laps to go. Further back up here then, oh, that's Harry, who nearly goes into the back of Mark, has to go wide. That's allowed Rob to get past. On board with Rob, as we see the leaders going up into the hairpin. Settled down here mid-pack, and it's still quite settled here, although saying that Tom is behind Darren now, so Darren must have got past Tom at some point when we were watching the further down in the pack. Still a fairly good position for Tom. It's a strong start, but still not a podium or a win. Tom winless in this season so far, after the competition has gotten that much more stronger. So Stephen still in second, but under threat by Darren, and here is our leader, as expected. Oh, there's an opportunity here for Darren, and Darren seems to have got the inside of Stephen, but Stephen goes back up on the inside and gets the position back, so Stephen takes back second position. That was a good try from Darren there, but he didn't quite finish it, as Stephen did a great job of getting the undercut. And even Tom now looking at potentially getting past Darren. This is really slowing Darren up a little bit, trying to get past Stephen and pushing those braking limits. Just over the halfway point into this race, and the fight between for second and third here is really hotting up. Can Darren get another opportunity? Here's up on the inside again. Could take that second position. Has he finished it this time? I think he has. Looks like he's got it. Maybe a little bit of a tap there from Stephen, but Stephen's now under threat from Tom, and Stephen is down to fourth. So not only has he lost it in second to Darren, he's lost his third position to Tom. And Heathy taking that wide turn again. The interesting thing about that is it is outside the track limits, so I wouldn't be surprised if the stewards would to look at that, because it's not quite within the limits, and Stephen probably just trying to make the most of what he can to take advantage of that runoff. This is still looking tasty here, mid-pack between Mark, Rob and Harry. But still slightly settled. Further up, we've still got Josh, Kieran, Chris and Joe all fighting it out for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. And even Joe here at the back of the pack is still potentially going to make more points if the three in front of him all take each other out. And in actual fact, Chris now is up in 10th, so Chris looking good here in the BMW. I do wonder, I think Chris is on the softs, so he has gone off a lot. The other guys are on the hards, so he does look a bit quicker, but because he's been off quite a few times, it's shown that he's not quite further up the pack. Sideways from Chris, and quite aggressive cornering compared to some, but nevertheless it's his first race. Mike has gapped this pack now, so looking comfortable in 8th. Back up with this pack again, and Harry looking to get past Rob still. And they're still looking very consistent, all three of them. But Rob's got a bit of a run here. Could he get on the inside of Mark? And there's a bit of a tap. There's a push wide. But both of them looking good. And Rob slowed down. I think maybe he felt that there was a bit too much of a push. So he's allowed Mark to go back up ahead. But on board with Rob, and you can see the runoff areas are being used a fair bit. Mark running wide as he exits some of the corners. Let's see if he does it here. A little bit, but nothing too bad. And Rob, to be honest, follows him, probably because he follows his racing line. Harry just dropped off a little bit here from this pack, but patient and waiting to see if they take each other out. So still here with Tom and Heathy and Darren, and Heathy's made a mistake. He's gone slightly wide. That's allowed Tom to get a good run on him. Slots just in behind, not quite enough for Tom. Oh, and he's running wide again, so Tom just hitting the gravel slightly there. Still not able to take advantage and to get that podium position. Down on to lap 11, so the laps are diminishing and we are back to just 3 laps left. Mark and Rob still fighting it out, and this looking closer than ever before. On board with Rob again. And he's gone up on the inside, but it's not quite worked out. There's Mark doing that slight run wide again. And see the run he's got, it's actually pulled him a big gap. Mike's still comfortable in 8th, and this battle here is still raging on. We've got Joe now ahead of Kieran, so Joe's managed to get into the lead of the pack. Chris has dropped back behind again, and Josh in 11th, so Joe in that Mazda. Oh, contact there between Josh and Joe. Unsettled the Mazda, so Chris goes back up into 10th. Joe down into 11th, and Josh at the back of the pack here. And then we can have another little look at that incident there and see what happened to Josh as he outbraked himself into the first turn. On board with Josh then as he approaches the start-finish line, and then into the first corner with the amount of speed he's got up, and just a heavy contact there with Joe. And then as he's tried to re-straighten the Renault, it's actually hit him again on the back end of that Mazda. Let's have a look on board with Joe then in the Mazda. Let's see his perspective. Whack! Josh says hello in the Renault. Yeah, so unfortunately Josh just got a bit too keen and outbraked himself into the corner, as we we actually see Joe do the same. But heavy contact between Josh and Joe there. So wouldn't be surprised again if the race stewards to be looking at it, but at least Joe and Josh were able to continue racing on fairly from there onwards. Still Rob, Harry and Mark are close, and it's still Mark leading, so Rob's still unable to take advantage, and Tom's got a chance here up on the inside of Heathy, and he's got him. So Tom back up to 3rd now. Heathy is down to 4th. Tom's got that podium position back. Oh, look at that. An aggressive move there from Heathy, but I think he's allowed Tom to get back ahead. So we're down to the final lap as we come around the last few corners here. Darren has got himself a comfortable gap as he runs very wide there, but Darren is comfortably in 2nd as we go into the final lap here with Craig. Craig looking really dominant to the point where it's starting to look like he's going to be uncatchable if no one does anything in the next few rounds. Heathy and Tom still battling it out for 3rd and 4th, and Heathy's got to run, so could Heathy get Tom? I think he's got him. Yes, he does. So Heathy goes up on the inside. Can Tom get the cutback? Not quite, so Tom's right behind Heathy now. Tom goes on the outside. Looking to get past. He's going to take the wide turn in. He might have got him, but I don't think it's quite enough. Not quite. So Harry's got ahead of Rob, and Harry might get ahead of Mark as well. This is looking really close now. So Harry and Mark side by side. Mark was on the inside for the next turn though. Harry runs wide, so that's allowed Rob to get on the inside. Rob could get back past Harry now, and the two are looking closely here, but Craig's going to take the win for the first race here at the Red Bull Ring. Darren takes second, just ahead of Heathy and Tom. Mark is just ahead of Rob and Harry, 5th, 6th and 7th. Mike is going to come away here with 8th as he comes around the last few corners. A nice drift from Mike then. A nice steady 8th for Mike. Chris is going to come away with 9th in the end, ahead of Kieran, who finishes ahead of Josh in 11th. And at the back, Joe, something must have happened to Joe to fall back that far. 12th place for Joe. The results then for race 1 here at Red Bull Ring. Craig takes the win with a full maximum 20 points. Darren takes 2nd, Stephen takes 3rd, Tom takes 4th, Mark was in 5th, Rob in 6th, Harry takes 7th, Mike in 8th, Chris 9th, Kieran in 10th, Josh takes 11th, and Joe takes the last place in 12th. So what this means then for the current title positions: Craig is still leading with 219 points, Darren in 2nd with 184, Mark jumps ahead of Mike now just by 2 points with 146, and Mike has 144. Tom jumps up to 5th with 143 ahead of Josh with 138. Sam stays in 7th with 115 after scoring no points. Kieran is in 8th, joint 8th, with Harry with 94. Rob is in 10th with 81. Stephen is 11th with 62. Gary stays in 12th with 43. Joe jumps up ahead of James now, in 13th with 30. James stays on 27 in 14th. And Chris gets his first points with 7 points in 15th. In the teams, Parker Racing have been taken over yet again by Elliot, 354 points to 342. Of course, that's because Sam isn't in the event here, so Parker naturally will score less points. K-Tech jump up to 299, hopefully catching up with Parker with 2 cars. In the independents then, Mark is taking that lead further ahead with 203 points to 197 at Mike. Josh is in 3rd still with 178. Harry's on 150 in 4th. Gary has been overtaken by Stephen now. Stephen on 82 in 5th. Gary is 6th with 70. Joe is still in 7th with 48. James in 8th with 34. And Chris has 11 points in 9th position.